Om, 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 Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Brahma Miristriparan Takare, Banushashi Bamisato, Buddhasha Gurusha Shukra, Shani Rahu Keteva, Sarve Graha Shanti Kara Bhavantu. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Well, greetings and welcome to another episode of Cosmic Kev 100, your weekly astro video zine that takes the planets, the houses, signs of the zodiac, and tries to make sense of it, mainly in accordance with the Western astrology tradition, but I do go into Vedic astrology because that's really my own personal specialty, but it's less popular here in the United States where this is being recorded. So, the Western astrology, tropical astrology, is not based on where the constellations are. It's based on seasons. And but if I was to say where the moon is for Wednesday, it would be in the constellation of Capricorn. And the part of Capricorn that the moon is in for Wednesday, October 29th, is a lunar mansion known as Shravana. So Shravana is totally within the constellation of Capricorn, and it's considered to be ruled by the moon. And so it's got this Saturn rulership being in Capricorn, but that particular part of the sky has this moon lunar influence. Now, in Vedic astrology, the moon rules our mind. It rules our mental energy. And so what we think about. Saturn's about learning the hard way, about the hard knocks of life, about the reality, about being in a public space, and what that entails. So different things, we've got different challenges and different things we're working on here with this particular moon. And one of the symbols for Shravana is the ear, and the ear means to listen and to hear. And we get caught up easily with the cacophony of life, with all the noise. I love how Russell Brand has this thing, above the noise, and it's like, there's just a lot of, be afraid and, be upset and, they're doing horrible things. And I mean, horrible people have always done horrible things. That's just the facts of life. And then the worst ones are the ones who pretend to be your friends and make it all right, but they're going to take away your freedom and all this other stuff too. And so there's a lot of nuance that people leave, and they feel safety somehow in some kind of philosophy. I do feel safety within the bounds of scripture and spiritual teachings. I think that does bring a more sattvic or calmer, more productive place to be in your mind, because it's basically based on love, and that's what we want to have, more love. Now, in Western astrology, tomorrow the moon's in Aquarius, and that's kind of a social moon. And but I like how the Vedics talk about it being in Shravana and having the ear, like this is a time to listen. And Shravana is also ruled by Vishnu. Vishnu is the preserver aspect of God. We see that in Jesus, Savior, same as preserver. I guess they would say Krishna before Jesus, in their particular understanding of it. And so I'd just like to let everybody have their own understanding of things. And we are going to go sign by sign now in the zodiac. I mean, other things that have changed is we're having Mercury on Wednesdays moved into Sagittarius. So if I speak freely today, that's probably why. And beyond that, well, Sun's in Scorpio, and we're approaching Samhain. The original, I guess, pagan Celtic name for Halloween. Halloween meaning All Hallows Eves. It's the day before All Saints' Day. And in the Celtic tradition, we say that the 28th, 29th, 31st is when the veil is thin, and where like ancestral energy is more easily contacted or influenced. And it's there. I mean, some people say, no, that's all dead and gone. I mean, if you even have a family uh, album with pictures, there's an essence, there's an energy of the people that went before. It's undeniable. And the Petries are the ancestors, and most of us in our traditions play or pay some tribute to them. I'm grateful for my parents. They're no longer with me, but I still pray for them and stuff, just because I believe God is timeless. And we have to get out of this linear concept of time in our minds so we can get beyond all this materialistic BS that we've been living with. So, we're going to go sign by sign now, starting with you, Aries. And Mars is going to move into Sagittarius, I believe, a week from Wednesday. So this is the last, Mars is going into Scorpio in both systems now. So there's maybe a more intense libido, more of an energy directed at the mystical. And so I'll say greetings, Aries. This is your mystical week where the mysteries of life get a little bit more intense. And not everything's within your control. The kind of Mars work that happens in Scorpio is a little more on the intense side. Now, did I see somewhere that Neptune was about to retrograde back into Pisces? I'm not really sure about that. I am, but I need to check myself before I wreck myself on this forecast here. So we do have Venus in Libra, so that is your 7th house. So this should be a good time for relationships. And Uranus is still in your 3rd, and Jupiter is in Cancer, exalted, doing really well for all of us. This is a very social day for you, and there might be some transformation from that. Okay. Greetings, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope. So, tomorrow's moon being in Aquarius, that's in your midheaven. So there'll be a lot of things in your workspace and your public space kind of going off over the next, couple of days. So it's good to keep that in mind. We get to Halloween, moon will be in Pisces and Western. It'll be in your 11th house. It'll be a very social time for you. And, Scorpio is your partnership sign. So this is a really good time to make peace. Make peace with enemies. Let me tell you, we do not do better with our health or our life when we hold on to resentment. And the easier we can let go, the easier we can say, hey, I might have been wrong there. I didn't like the way I did this with you, and I would like to come clean with that. Then we create better relationships, and that's where the real magic comes. That's where the real courage is. Greetings, Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope. So, Scorpio season is about your health. And really, for a lot of people, this is a time when your health can take a dive because, basically the sun most of the time when the sun's in tropical Scorpio, it's in Vedic or sidereal Libra, which is the debilitated sun. And so issues regarding the heart, anything that's like ruled by the sun has to be looked at, and your own authority, those things feel, somewhat diminished. It's hard, it is really hard because there are culprits and rascals all over the place, folks. and we have to be ready. But this is also a time where you can improve your physical strength, because sixth house is about health, and you can work on making those things better. And Mars being somewhat close to the sun is a comfortable aspect. And Mercury now in your partnership sign, you become more of a sweet talker. You'll be able to convince other people of things way more easily now. Okay. Whoop, whoop. All right. So, greetings, Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope. Well, I mean, Scorpio is about your fifth house, which is your children, your creative expression. It's considered one of the luckier houses. It's one of the more fortunate houses. This is, generally speaking, a really good time for you. So it's a good time for you to have a good time. And so, acts of kindness, generosity go so much farther during this. Certain amount of transformation on Wednesday and Thursday with this moon going through Aquarius in your eighth house. So, not everything is under your complete control. And you want to move in your workspace with some kind of spiritual aesthetic, some kind of higher aesthetic. And, you're learning somewhat through the hard knocks and through eccentric people and weird things happening. And that's okay. It's all going to get better, is what I'm saying. Greetings, Leo. Welcome to your horoscope. So, it's interesting that a lot of Leos really admire Scorpio as a sign. This is what I've heard from other Leos. It says, well, that's the one sign of the zodiac that I'm like thinking, oh my God, I better be careful. Well, it's a water sign, it's fixed water. And, a pot of water can put out a fire. And so water is very powerful. We look at the Grand Canyon or Zion National Park and all this beauty that water carved and created, and there's smaller versions of that or other versions of that in other parts of the world. So water is definitely a very powerful element. Scorpio is about your ancestry, actually. It's about your home space. It's about fixed assets that you own, Leo. And so it's really where you ground yourself. So this is kind of like your time where you feel more like a home buddy. It's a time when you want to pay attention to your parents, their own comfort, their health, what their situation is, and do something to sort of fortify. We're fortifying the ancestors. We're feeding them, we're helping them. That's part of the situation. And so this is going to afford you. And, Wednesday and Thursday look really nice because moon's in your seventh house. So, you're more amicable and likable. And I think you're going to do well. Halloween, I'll say, be a little bit careful. It could get a little bit out of control for you. All right. Greetings, Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope. Mercury moving into Sagittarius. It's sort of like, well, you had this nicer third house Mercury, and now it's going into your fourth house. Pay attention to your feelings. And also, this kind of house is where you understand what you're talking about. This is a really good house for research, the fourth house, and for looking at the history of things. So you're going to discover a lot of things in history. And when we look at history, like recently today, I looked at a 1948 documentary on propaganda, or a little educational thing, what kind of words people use. And I was like, oh my God, this is like a democracy now, all these words and stuff. I was like, I have a lot of friends that love that show too. And I was like going, wow. Well, that's really sad because I think there's a lot of good intention behind it. But I also have to say that, yeah, the generalizations do not help us. And I see this in all the politics in both major political parties here in the States, but I'm sure it's the same way if you're in Europe and other places. Everyone wants to blame the other guy, but there's reasons why everything's come. And yes, there are international banking forces that don't give a rat's ass about us. And they have other plans in mind, and so there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, so to speak. So you have to be really conscious as all these things are happening. And securing relationships, keeping relationships good even when they're rough. That's a really important message for you, Virgo. And, it's a friendly time. Scorpio is like a friend sign. It's a sign of siblings for you. It's a sign of writing. It's a good time to journal. It's a good time to get to know your neighbors better, work with your hands, write a new song. Greetings, Libra. Welcome to your horoscope. Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't do the horoscope last week where the big shift happened, and because I was having my own little personal issues I had to work out, and I had friends suddenly visit and all kinds of stuff when I was planning on doing this. I had a premonition the day before. Maybe I should do it now, and I didn't. So always pay attention to those premonitions. Second house, it's about money. It's about family. It's about your neck, throat, lower face, things that you can't necessarily control quite as easy. Your voice, this is where you find your voice. Now, Mercury is moving into your third house. That's going to be good. So your communication is going to get better. Venus is in Libra. That's lovely. That makes you look beautiful and helps you in your relationships present yourself better. Scorpio time is about your values. So there's some value connected with Libra and Scorpio. And what I like about Libra and Scorpio is they're both like, Libra's like a masculine element, air, ruled by a feminine planet, Venus, and Scorpio is a feminine element, water, ruled by a masculine planet, Mars. And so, I mean, yes, there is the Pluto thing. We know about that now, but it's always going to the roots, always going to the essence of what we understand, because those principles still work today. And so, what I see is this is your time where you can make a lot of money and also improve your relations with your family. And Halloween, it looks like it's going to be some work, serving, helping other people. That'll be your best option here. All right, greetings, Scorpio. Welcome to your horoscope. Okay, well, and happy birthday. If you're Scorpio having a birthday this week, I just want to wish you a happy birthday. I'm going to wish a happy birthday to my friend Michael Rainey, who's turning 69 on the 30th, and to my friend Sharon North, whose birthday is Halloween, and she is turning 67, and my friend John Dittis, who's turning 60 on November 3rd. And there's a lot more of you than just that. Gosh, I can keep on going. But I'm wishing you all Linda Farquhar, I believe is turning 52 on November 1st. So happy birthday to all of you, and may you live long and prosper in every way. And Halloween looks great because the moon will be in Pisces that night, so the weekend looks wonderful for Scorpio. And you just got to be upfront, be honest. All of these things are going to have its own energy to help you. Well, greetings, Sagittarius, and welcome to your horoscope. Okay, so since Scorpio time is your 12th house, 12th house is considered the house of loss. It's also the house of sleep and dreams, and it's the bedroom, and sometimes it could be death. Some people say the 8th house. I think it's both from what I've observed. And so, it's just like, what do you want to lay to rest? That's what this period of time is between now and the 22nd of November. So what do you want to lay to rest? So you can bring forth new life, more life, and the moon will be in Jupiter ruled Pisces, I guess on Halloween, and it'll be in your 4th house. So you might have a really elaborately decorated home for Halloween. I mean, Halloween decorations where I live in my community have gotten more elaborate than Christmas, which is really an interesting switch. I mean, it's easier to get outside, in October and dress things up. It's not so cold yet, and it's so pretty with all the leaves turning color. If you're in an area that supports deciduous forest, which Chico does. In fact, it's probably one of the prettiest falls in California is in Chico. And it lasts through November, so that makes it really, really special. But it's kind of started earlier this year. In October, we've had some cold nights. And Get out there and enjoy nature. You know, going to the wilderness is a really good thing to do when you're having a 12th house transit. And even if it is a little chilly, just enjoying nature is your game, and that'll be your best option. Okay, so greetings Capricorn, and welcome to your horoscope. So Moon's in Capricorn tomorrow and Thursday. I'm well in Vedic, yeah, not in Western astrology. So I mean, Moon is in Shravana Aquarius, second house. So, you know, you make a little money maybe the 2 days before Halloween, sell some candy or pomegranates, persimmons, that type of thing. That'll work. Um, Scorpio is your 11th house, which is like parties and helpful friends. It also is a house that can help you make money. And as far as relationship wise, it should be pretty good. I mean, if you were a Capricorn in a dry season, this Jupiter in the seventh house can bring out potential suitors, especially for female Capricorns. It's like, wow, there's better men available right now for some reason. And so Jupiter tends to rule fathers and husbands more. I mean, the sun does too, to an extent, but this is one thing I've learned in relationships. The two benefics, you know, Venus does it for men, Jupiter does it for women, and so as far as their spouses are concerned, you know, good Jupiter means good spouse for a woman. Good Venus means a good spouse for a man. Okay, and I would say, you know, pay attention to your dreams. There's messages and dreams for Capricorn this week. All right. Anyhow, greetings Aquarius. Welcome to your horoscope, and I'm so happy to be with you this week. So, Moon will be in your sun sign on Wednesday and Thursday, and I know there's an election day in California on Tuesday. I mean, why people spend your money without asking you for an election you probably didn't even need? I'll never even I I can't even go there because I got to stay in my lane. I don't know about those things. These people come by and they say they know, but I'm going to go with the League of Women Voters and what Princeton University says about it. That's just how I'm going to look at it. No good, folks. But you have a lot of insights right now, and and do what you want to. I won't hate you if if you're in support of such things. I don't. I think I know that it will hurt some tribal communities in California, and I feel like we really owe a lot to First Peoples. So, that's why I had my little thing there. But I mean, for Aquarius right now, this is when you perform the best. Actually, this is when you're in public, you're seen as really capable and really dynamic right now, and you're learning how to love and create in better ways. I mean, it's just a really wonderful period. Your communication at parties and stuff has gotten better. I think you're going to really enjoy Halloween. You might even make money on Halloween. So it's a good weekend for you. So we'll keep it there. All right. Moving on over to Pisces. Greetings, Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope. So, Moon is in Pisces on Halloween, which is so appropriate, and there's all these planets and water signs, and it brings about this feeling of emotional simpatico, like things are better on the emotional scale and better on the relationship scale and better in the imagination and creativity scale and the intuition and the sensitivity. All of this is enhanced. So, you'll come up with an amazing costume or amazing decorations for your house. It's going to be a really fun, dynamic night for you. And so keep that in mind. And it's just like, think about, as far as like investment, what things reflect your spiritual values? What things are going to bring about more positivity in the long run in your life? Those are the things that you want to spend on. Otherwise, it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. And you're able to communicate better now that Mercury's in Sagittarius. Mars will be there. So you just have to avoid arguments at work and always keep that resolution in mind. Resolution and resolve is more important than revolution. It's one thing to just tear stuff down, but what's your plan on building? What are you going to have afterwards? It's like, let's build something together. Let's create a better world together. That's ultimately the message I want to get. Scorpio's key phrase is I create. And so what are we creating? That's ultimately it. And so when we create something beautiful, everyone benefits. And thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your comments. Please like, please share, please subscribe. I love you all. I appreciate you. I like your comments. And John and Colleen, great. Thanks for commenting, Shant and Nicole and Wordsley and some of you other folks that every now and then kind of pop your head in there and say hello. Mary Hayden and others. I love you all, and that's all I want from this is just to extend more love and more energy towards you having a eternal bliss with the ultimate creator. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Tat Sat.